Let me see. It'll pop up on my phone. Thanks for liking the live stream, Salome. I'll pop up soon. Sending. Okay, there you go. Boom. Twitch. Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right. When I see it pop up on my phone, then I know it's live, and I don't see any drop frame rates, so I'm gonna have faith and not gonna check the stream. Okay, welcome to those who are on YouTube and Twitch. We're gonna go straight into the recap of day 41. We covered Numbers chapter 16 to 18. Here goes the recap. Korah's rebellion. Korah, along with Dathan, Abiram, and 250 respected leaders, rose up against Moses and Aaron. They accused them of exalting themselves above the people, forgetting that leadership in Israel was appointed by God, not seized by ambition. Moses responded with humility, falling face down before the Lord and allowing God himself to reveal whom he had chosen. The next day, God judged the rebellion dramatically. The earth opened up and swallowed Korah, Dathan, and Abiram, and their household. Fire from the Lord consumed the 250 men offering unauthorized incense. Their bronze incense burners were hammered into a covering for the altar as a permanent warning against rebellion. Yet the people still complained. A deadly plague broke out, killing 14,700 people until Aaron stood between the living and the dead with incense, and the plague stopped. All right. Numbers chapter 17. Aaron's staff buds. To end the people's constant complaints, God commanded that 12 staffs, one from each tribe, be placed before him in the tabernacle. The next day, Aaron's staff alone has sprouted, blossomed, and produced ripe almonds. God ordered it kept before the ark as a lasting sign of his chosen priesthood. All right, Numbers chapter 18, duties and provision for priests and Levites. So the sacred responsibility. Priests, which are Aaron and his descendants, were responsible for the sanctuary and altar. Levites assisted in the tabernacle service and protection. Any unauthorized approach to holy things brought death, showing God's holiness. God's provision. Because priests and Levites received no land inheritance, God provided for them through offerings and first fruits, firstborn redemption payments, tithes from Israel. Most importantly, God declared, I am your share and your inheritance. The Levites themselves were to give a tithe of the tithe to the priests, showing that everyone who receives from God must also give back to him. And that wraps up Numbers chapter 16 to 18. And we're going to go into 19. Let me set up the notes. Day 42. God is good. And we're going to be done Numbers on Tuesday. We're going to go into Deuteronomy. Numbers. Alrighty. The water of purification. Numbers chapter 19, verse 1. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, verse 2, here is another legal requirement commanded by the Lord. Tell the people of Israel to bring you a red heifer, a perfect animal that has no defects and has never been yoked to a plow. Verse 3, give it to Eleazar, the priest, and it will be taken outside the camp and slaughtered in his presence. Verse 4, Eleazar will take some of its blood on his finger and sprinkle it 7 times toward the front of the tabernacle. Verse 5. As Eleazar watches, the heifer must be burnt, its hide, meat, blood, and dung. Verse 6. Eleazar the priest must then take a stick of cedar, a hyssop branch, and some scarlet yarn and throw them into the fire where the heifer is burning. Verse 7. Then the priest must wash his clothes and bathe himself in water. Afterward, he may return to the camp, though he will remain ceremonially unclean until evening. Verse 8. The man who burns the animal must also wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and he too will remain unclean until evening. Verse 9. Then someone who is ceremonially clean will gather up the ashes of the heifer and deposit them in a purified place outside the camp. They will be kept there for the community of Israel to use in the waters for the purification ceremony. This ceremony is performed for the removal of sin. Verse 10. The man who gathers up the ashes of the heifer must also wash his clothes, and he will remain ceremonially unclean until evening. This is a permanent law for the people of Israel and any foreigners who live among them. Verse 11. All those who touch a dead human body will be ceremonially unclean for 7 days. Verse 12. They must purify themselves on the 3rd and 7th days with the water of purification. Then they will be purified. But if they do not do this on the 3rd and 7th days, they will continue to be unclean even after the 7th day. Verse 13. All those who touch a dead body and do not purify themselves in the proper way, defile the Lord's tabernacle, and they will be cut off from the community of Israel. Since the water of purification was not sprinkled on them, their defilement continues. Verse 14. This is the ritual law that applies when someone dies inside a tent. All those who enter that tent and who were inside when death occurred will be ceremonially unclean for 7 days. Verse 15. Any open container in the tent that was not covered with a lid is also defiled. Verse 16. And if someone in an open field touches the corpse of someone who was killed with a sword, or who died a natural death, or if someone touches a human bone or a grave, that person will be defiled for 7 days. Verse 17. To remove the defilement, put some of the ashes from the burnt purification offering in a jar, and pour fresh water over them. Verse 18. Then someone who is ceremonial clean must take a hyssop branch and dip it into the water. That person must sprinkle the water on the tent, on all the furnishings in the tent, and on the people who were in the tent, also on the person who touched a human bone, or touched someone who was killed or died naturally, or touched a grave. Verse 19. On the 3rd and 7th days, the person who is ceremonially clean must sprinkle the water on those who are defiled. Then on the 7th day, the people being cleansed must wash their clothes and bathe themselves, and that evening they will be cleansed of their defilements. Verse 20. But those who become defiled and do not purify themselves will be cut off from the community, for they have defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. Since the water of purification has not been sprinkled on them, they remain defiled. Verse 21. This is a permanent law for people. Those who sprinkle the water of purification must afterward wash their clothes, and anyone who then touches the water used for purification will remain defiled until evening. Verse 22. Anything and anyone that a defiled person touches will be ceremonially unclean until evening. Thanks for liking the live stream, Amy and Salome. And that wraps up Numbers chapter 19. By the way, I'm congested. The little man is sick, and he made me sick. I'm gonna blame him. Oh, shout out to Deja. Just after a fast and I get sick. That's funny. All right. Ooh. Need some good old ginger tea. Yeah. I drank Buckley's today. Um, I've been drinking water and lots of fluids. The reason why I paused because this is one of the interesting stories of what Moses did. Moses strikes the rock. All right, let's read it. I want you guys to listen, and we're just gonna read it. Let me go closer because I don't feel like leaning forward. That hurts my back. All right. Moses strikes the rock. Numbers chapter 20, verse 1. In the first month of the year, the whole community of Israel arrived in the wilderness of Zin and camped at Kadesh. While they were there, Miriam died and was buried. So Moses' sister had died and she was buried. Verse 2. There was no water for the people to drink at that place, so they rebelled against Moses and Aaron. Verse 3. The people blamed Moses and said, if only we had died in the Lord's presence with our brothers. Verse 4. Why have you brought the congregation of the Lord's people into the wilderness? You guys heard congregation, right? Okay. Remember I was saying it's the first church. Tabernacle. Okay. Verse 3. The people blamed Moses and said, if only we had died in the Lord's presence with our brothers. Verse 4. Why have you brought the congregation of the Lord's people into the wilderness to die, along with all of our livestock? Verse 5. Why did you make us leave Egypt and bring us here to this terrible place? This land has no grain, no figs, no grapes, no pomegranates, and no water to drink. Verse 6. Moses and Aaron turned away from the people and went to the entrance of the tabernacle, where they fell face down on the ground. Then the glorious presence of the Lord appeared to them. Verse 7. And the Lord said to Moses, verse 8, you and Aaron must take the staff and assemble the entire community. As the people watch, speak to the rock over there, and it will pour out its water. You will provide enough water from the rock to satisfy the whole community and their livestock. Verse 9. So Moses did as he was told. He took the staff from the place where it was kept before the Lord. Verse 10. Then he and Aaron summoned the people to come and gather at the rock. Listen, you rebels, he shouted. Must we bring you water from this rock? Verse 11. Then Moses raised his hand and water gushed out. So the entire community and their livestock drank their fill. Verse 12. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, because you did not trust me enough to demonstrate my holiness to the people of Israel, you will not lead them into the land I am giving them. Verse 13. This place was known as the waters of Meribah, which means arguing, because their people of Israel argued with the Lord, and there he demonstrated his holiness among them. You guys just took in what happened, right? If you guys took in what happened, put a thumbs up. If you don't, put a thumbs down. Hey, Steve, I didn't know you're there. I'm saying if you know what I just read, I'm talking about right now. What I just read. Okay, so I'll read it. So Moses striking the rock is one of the... Okay, I'll read it. But the Lord, verse 12. Okay, I'll read the whole thing again. Let me just read it. In the first month of the year, the whole community of Israel arrived in the wilderness of Zin and camped at Kadesh. While they were there, Miriam died and was buried. Verse 2. There was no water for the people to drink at the place, so they rebelled against Moses and Aaron. Verse 3. The people blamed Moses and said, "If only we had died in the Lord's presence with our brothers." Verse 4, "Why have you brought the congregation of the Lord's people into the wilderness to die, along with all of our livestock?" Verse 5, "Why did you make us leave Egypt and bring us here to this terrible place? This land has no grains, no figs, no grapes, no pomegranates, and no water to drink." Verse 6, "Moses and Aaron turned away from the people and went to the entrance of the tabernacle, where they fell face to the ground on the ground. Then the glorious presence of the Lord appeared to them." Verse 7, "And the Lord said to Moses," verse 8, "You and Aaron must take the staff and assemble the entire community. And, as the people watch, speak to the rock over there, and it will pour out its water. You will provide enough water from the rock to satisfy the whole community and their livestock." Verse 9, "So Moses did as he was told, and he took the staff from the place where it was kept before the Lord." Verse 10, "Then he and Aaron summoned the people to come and gather at the rock. 'Listen, you rebels,' he shouted, 'must we bring you water from this rock?' Verse 11, "Then Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice with the staff, and water gushed out. So the entire community and their livestock drank the fill." Verse 12, "But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, 'Because you did not trust me enough to demonstrate my holiness to the people of Israel, you will not lead them into the land I am giving them.'" Verse 13, "This place was..." So what happened was, Moses became frustrated, striking the rock twice. That's why it says twice. You're supposed to hit it once, hit it twice. The first one out of frustration. That was a sign of rebellion to God. You know what God did? God said, "Moses, you're no longer going to lead the people." That's what happened. So moving forward, Moses is not going to be the one leading them to the land of Canaan. He lost his position. He lost his position. Yeah. He lost his position. It's going to be someone else who's going to take over. All right. Moses lost his position. Edom refuses Israel's passage. Verse 14, "While Moses was at Kadesh, he sent ambassadors to the king of Edom with this message. 'This is what your relatives, the people of Israel, say. You know all the hardships we have been through.'" Verse 15, "Our ancestors went down to Egypt, and we lived there a long time. And we and our ancestors were brutally mistreated by the Egyptians." Verse 16, "But when we cried out to the Lord, he heard us and sent an angel who brought us out of Egypt. Now we were camped at Kadesh, a town of the border of your land." Verse 17, please let us travel through your land. We will be careful not to go through your fields and vineyards. We won't even drink water from your wells. We will stay on the king's road and never leave it until we have passed through your territory. I'll be with you. I'll be with you." Verse 18, "But the king of Edom said, 'Stay out of my land, or I'll meet you with an army.'" Verse 19, "The Israelites answered, 'We will stay on the main road if our livestock drink your water. We will pray for it. Just let us pass through your country. That's all we ask.' Verse 20, "But the king of Edom replied, 'Stay out, you may not pass through our land.' With that, he mobilized his army and marched out against them with an opposing force." Verse 21, "Because Edom refused to allow Israel to pass through their country, Israel was forced to turn around." You guys remember Edom, right? You guys remember Edom? All right. So the Edomites, he said yes, no. Edom. So, yo, Lululemon, what's up? Edom is Edom is from the is a son of Esau. Remember, Esau had sons, right? Um, the Edomites. So, letting y'all know, Edom is from Esau. I mean, this is the Edom as a country, so obviously this is generations later. So, it's, yeah. All right. The death of Aaron. So Moses' brother. Verse 22. The whole community of Israel left Kadesh and arrived at Mount Hor. Verse 33. On the border of the land of Edom, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron. Verse 24. This time has come for Aaron to join his ancestors in death. He will not enter the land I am giving the people of Israel because the two of you rebelled against my instructions concerning the water at Meribah. Remember, out of frustration, Moses hit the rock twice. God did let them know whatever he does affects them too as well. Whatever Moses did. And so, because the journey is over for them, this reminds me of life. This reminds me of life. It's like there's people on this earth that came and passed and never fulfilled their purpose. And their lives has been, it's like, think about it. Your purpose is like on earth goes with your lifespan. Like what you're supposed to do on earth, it goes with your lifespan. And it's like it's only, and it's not always the case, but most of the time, because there's people who probably live a long life never fulfilling enough. But like seriously, it actually, like if you look into it, like, what you do, what you're called to do, there's times when you're not doing and God gives so many chances. Next thing you know, you're not here anymore. This is a demonstration of that. I'll read it again. Verse 24. The time has come for Aaron to join his ancestors in death. He will not enter the land I'm giving the people of Israel because two of you rebelled against my instructions concerning the water at Meribah. Verse 25. Now take Aaron and his son Eleazar up Mount Hor. Verse 26. There you remove Aaron's priestly garments and put them on Eleazar, his son. Aaron will die there and join his ancestors. Verse 27. So Moses did as the Lord commanded. The three of them went up Mount Hor together, and the whole community watched. Verse 28. At the summit, Moses removed the priestly garments from Aaron and put them on Eleazar, Aaron's son. Then Aaron died there on top of the mountain, and Moses and Eleazar went back down. Verse 29. When the people realized that Aaron had died, all Israel mourned for him 30 days. Yes, Aaron was older than Moses. But it's not about age, because the goal was for both. Because Moses is not going to go to Canaan. Moses is going to die too, right? So the goal was for them to also to lead them to Canaan. Someone else will lead though. Someone else will lead. And he's there. He's there with them. All right. Victory over the Canaanites. Verse 21. Oh, this is the last. Ooh, hold on. Before I go, I said verse 21. All right. Before we go, I'm going to just set up the notes for Numbers 20. That was their assignment. They failed. Yeah. One. It wasn't about old age. They're already old. It wasn't about old age. Moses was an old man. They're all old during this time. This is my theory. This is my theory. It's not. I don't know if it's in the Bible. My theory is that maybe Moses was supposed to be old, so that they can respect an elder. You know, because if it was like David during that time, I don't think the way they were rebelling, I don't think they'll listen to him. Yeah, just a little kid. Ah, man. They still did that to David. They still did that, but like then there was a lot more things happen that made the Israelites know that anyone can be used. You know. Um, but that's my theory. I don't know if that's just my theory. You guys watch the movie David? Oh, Aaron should have died for that golden cap party. God's grace, man. When God said when he struck out a plague on the people, I thought Aaron would be affected. I think he was. I don't know. I watched a show that Aaron was like scratching himself, but I'm like, does that mean he was affected? Because I didn't read that in the Bible, but it could have been, man. All right, we're gonna read the last chapter of the day. All right, Numbers chapter 21, victory over the Canaanites, verse 1. The Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in the Negev, heard that the Israelites were approaching on the road through Atharim. So he attacked the Israelites and took some of them as prisoners. Verse 2. This is going to be interesting. Then the people of Israel made this vow to the Lord: if you will hand these people over to us, we are completely destroyed all their towns. We will completely destroy all their towns. Verse 3. The Lord heard the Israelites' request and gave them victory over the Canaanites. The Israelites completely destroyed them. You hear that? And their towns, and place has been called Hormah ever since. The bronze snake. Verse 4. Then the people of Israel set out from Mount Hor, taking the road to the Red Sea to go around the land of Edom, because they couldn't pass through Edom. But the people grew impatient with the long journey. Verse 5. And they began to speak against God and Moses again. Why have you brought us out of Egypt to die here in the wilderness? They complained. There is nothing to eat here, nothing to drink, and we hate this horrible manna. uh. So the Lord sent poisonous snakes among the people, and many were bitten and died. Verse 7. Then the people came to Moses and cried out, we have sinned by speaking against the Lord and against you. Pray that the Lord will take away the snakes. So Moses prayed for the people. Verse 8. Then the Lord told him, make a replica of a poisonous snake and attach it to a pole. All who are bitten will live if they simply look at it. Verse 9. So Moses made a snake out of bronze and attached it to a pole. Then anyone who was bitten by a snake could look at the bronze snake and be healed. Israel's journey to Moab. Verse 10. The Israelites traveled next to Oboth and camped there. Verse 11. Then they went on to lie Abiram in the wilderness on the eastern border of Moab. Verse 12. From there they traveled to the valley of Zered Brook and set up camp. Okay, so Zered Brook and set. Okay, cool. Verse 13. Then they moved out and camped on the far side of the Arnon River in the wilderness adjacent to the territory of the Amorites. Then Arnon is the boundary line between the Moabites and the Amorites. Verse 14. For this reason, the book Verse 14. For this reason, the book of the wars of the Lord speaks of the town of Wayab in the area of Supa and the ravenous of the Arnon River. Verse 15. And the ravenous that extended as far as the settlement of Ar on the border of Moab. Verse 16. Okay. From there, the Israelites traveled to Beer. Oh, cool. Place called Beer, which is the well where the Lord said to Moses, assemble the people and I will give them water. Ooh. It's a well of beer. I'm just kidding. Verse 17. Then the Israelites sang the song. Spring up, oh well, yes, sing its praises. Verse 18. Sing of this well which prince dug. Oh, which princes dug. Which great leader hollowed out with their scepters and staffs. Then the Israelites left the wilderness and proceeded on through Matana. Verse 19. Nahaliel and Bamoth. Verse 20. After that, they went to the valley in Moab, where Pisgah Peak overlooks the wasteland. Yeah, sorry. I don't know why that took me down. Victory over Sihon and Og. Verse 21. Then the Israelites sent ambassadors to King Sihon of the Amorites with this message. Verse 22. Let us travel through your land. We will be careful not to go through fields and vineyards. We won't even drink water from your wells. We will stay on the king's road until we have passed through your territory. Verse 23. But King Sihon refused to let them cross his territory. Instead, he mobilized his entire army and attacked Israel in the wilderness, engaging them in battle at Jahaz. Verse 24. But the Israelites slaughtered them with their swords and occupied their land from the Arnon River to the Jabbok River. They went only as far as the Ammonite border, because the border of the Ammonites was fortified. Verse 25. So Israel captured all the towns of the Amorites and settled in them, including the city of Heshbon and its surrounding villages. This is all supposed to happen by them. Verse 26. Heshbon had been the capital of King Sihon of the Amorites. He had defeated a former Moabite king and seized all his land as far as the Arnon River. Verse 27. Therefore, the ancient poets wrote this about him. Come to Heshbon and let it be rebuilt. Let the city of Sihon be restored. A fire flamed forth from Heshbon, a blaze from the city of Sihon. It burned the city of Ar in Moab. It destroyed the rulers of the Arnon heights. Verse 29. What sorrow awaits you, O people of Moab? You are finished, O worshippers of Chemosh. Chemosh has left his sons as refugees, his daughters as captives of Sihon, the Amorite king. Verse 30. We have utterly destroyed them from Heshbon to Dibon. We have completely wiped them out as far away as Naphah and Medeba. Verse 31. So the people of Israel occupied the territory of the Amorites. Verse 32. After Moses sent men to explore the Jazer area, they captured all the towns in the region and drove out the Amorites who lived there. Verse 33. Then they turned and marched up the road to Bashan, but King Og of Bashan and all his people attacked them at Edrei. Verse 34. The Lord said to Moses, do not be afraid, for I have handed him over to you, along with all his people and his land. Do the same to him as you did to King Sihon of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon. Verse 35. And Israel killed King Og, his sons, and all his subjects. Not a single survivor remained. Then Israel occupied their land. And that wraps up Numbers chapter 21. And we are done. Day 42. I'm so stuffed. Hold on, guys. I gotta find. I think tissue. I know I have a tissue box. Oh. I'm gonna use wipes. I'm gonna use baby wipes. Oh, let me get out of the camera. I don't want people to see. Blowing my nose. Thanks for the gifts. Day 42 done. Yeah, so basically they're taking over Canaan. That's what they're doing right now. So this is the whole takeover. Remember the Amorites, Jebus. They're gonna attack the Jebusites. Amorites, Canaanites, Jebusites. What else? Moabites. Remember Moabites? So they defeated Moabites, defeated the Amorites. So that's what they did so far. They defeated two of them. Don't forget that they're going up against creatures and giants. Remember how they said they're like grasshoppers to the people? They spied out the towns already. They already spied it out. Caleb and I believe Jacob came back. I mean, it was 12 of them, and God killed 10 because the other 10 rebelled against God and all that. But anyways, yeah. So Caleb and Jacob, I believe, were the ones that were. I mean, they believe God can help them defeat, so they're defeating them. But Moses will not see any of that stuff soon. Aaron died, and now it's just Moses. So his siblings are gone. Miriam died, and then Aaron died. So, yeah, Moses' time is coming. Just letting you guys know. Yeah, I know it's getting interesting. The story's getting interesting. Are you really doing fill in the blank questions for trivia night? Find out the next episode. Okay. I'll do multiple choice. I'll do multiple choice. I feel like fill in the blank will be like a certificate type question. Yeah. Yo, for those who are on YouTube and Twitch, thanks for pulling up. It's your boy Kev TNRE. I'm outie. Cause I don't